And that's our family. Hi. Thanks for jumping in. So glad to see you. I'll give it just a couple minutes here. So grateful for you. So grateful. So grateful that you're here. Hello, so family. So many blessings to you. Thank you for jumping on. I'm going to be totally honest. I did not feel like coming on to this video today at all. 100% transparent here. And here I am showing up because I told you I would. And that's how you make things non-negotiable in your life. Spirit told me to do this last Tuesday. And I had a massive upgrade and shift in this last week. Massive. Huge portal closings. So much closure. And I already had this video scheduled. So here we are. And I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad that I'm committed to being here for you because each of you are super important to me. And whether we've met in the ethers or whether we've met online or whether we've met in person, I'm really, really glad you're here. So thank you. Hi, hi Isabella. Hi, Deluxe, Mansell Lux. Hey, Lene. Hey, Mary Rose. So as y'all are jumping in, I'm just going to share with you a little bit about what we're going to do today. And then I'm going to get into why it was so hard for me to show up today. And then I'm going to get into the details of how to do a water blessing ceremony. So I'm going to start with, I lit some sage over here. And I lit some incense over here. You can see my altar space over here at the pool, at the hot tub. And created this whole space here for our ceremony. And I have had a massive shift in another death portal that I went through this last week. And yeah, it's been really fucking hard. And so for those of you that have felt this wave of massive upgraded energy as we pass through this Capricorn full moon, this buck moon, give me a thumbs up or show me some hearts or give me some 100% or whatever, because this is one of the hardest things that I've done this last week in my life, and I'll get into that in just a moment. But I want to share with you, I'm going to adjust this camera a little bit, just share with you what the intention is for today is to hold ceremony together. And when we're in ceremony together, it is not always pretty. Sometimes ceremony is your ugly cry, and that's where I'm at today. I'm in the ugly cry phase. And, you know, this is a no judgment zone, so for those of you that have, followed me and watched me, this is a place where I can be vulnerable and raw. And a water blessing ceremony is not about us. It's about our connection to Source. And it's about something that's bigger than us. And this is why I'm showing up today. Through all the grief and through all the tears, I'm still showing up because I said I would. And that's how I fucking roll. And that's how non-negotiables are non-negotiables, right? And our self-care is a non-negotiable. Drinking healthy, amazing water is non-negotiable in my world. There's so many things that are non-negotiable, and when you set that as a foundation for your life, no matter what is going on, you show up. And so if I'm feeling this way, I can only imagine how the rest of the world is feeling, because I have a lot of skill set in navigating through as an empath, and a lot of tools that are in place to help me. And I know there's a lot of people out there that don't. Let me adjust this real quick. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't have that kind of skill set and don't have those tools. So I'm going to show you some tools today to connect with Source energy through the water, through the sacred waters. And I also am sharing with you today, it's not always easy to show up. it's not always easy to blaze a trail for others to follow. It is, you're called, you're chastised, you're called the crazy one, you're the black sheep, you're the rebel. People try to ostracize those of us that are leading the way in this ascension. And this ascension energy is no joke. It is no joke. It is intense. And for those that don't even know what's happening and are feeling this intensity, they just think the world has gone to shit. But this is prophetic. This is all in the prophecies. This is the times that we are in, is literally the times that we have prayed for and our ancestors have prayed for. And it's written in all of the sacred texts. And we're living it right now. And so here we are showing up, doing the things that are hard. And, there's a time and a place where we just have to show up no matter what. So water is our source. It is not just an element, but it is alive. It is conscious and living, and there's so much study as well on this. I'm not going to go into all of that. This is for those of you that have already kind of been past that tipping point and are understanding. This is why we're here, right? This is why we're here. It's why you showed up on this live or on this replay. And so there is consciousness in the water. And there is over 60, 70 years of research on the molecular structure and the crystalline structure of water as we pray over it, as we say thanks over it, as we offer our blessings to it, as we say gratitudes and appreciations and play beautiful music for it. And it changes the crystalline structure of the water itself under a molecular examination, or like a microscope. But there's further research now, and this research has been done by Veda Austin, called crystallography. So I have a bunch of different waters laid out over here. Tip my camera just a little bit so those of y'all here can see it. So this water here, you can see it has a VA on it. This was from Veda Austin's workshop, and I utilized this water and charged it in the workshop that I went to, which had a huge full swing circle in my life, causing a massive shift and upgrade. And so I'll get into that in a different live video. But this water here has been charged with the imagery that was on her PowerPoint and the intention to utilize that information to bring it out into the world. And so when we take our waters and combine them together, it's called water weaving. And my tribe is called Water Weavers, and we are the Hello Freedom Water Tribe. And we utilize the sacred grid work, utilizing crystals and sacred waters to bring this information back to its original source and back to its original structure and its original intention. And so this water here is specifically from there. And so I'm bringing that here. Hey, so good to see you, Julie. And so there's a bunch of different waters that I have not used in a water blessing ceremony before. So I have a jug of water that I've used since the beginning of this year, when we have done water blessing ceremonies all over and online. And it's at my shop, the Lighthouse in downtown Austin. And as I was preparing for this, I realized I didn't have that jug of water with me, because we've been adding to it and continuing to add living Kangen water to it and more prayers to it. And this is a whole new batch. This is the end of a death cycle, like I mentioned to you, a closure. And I'm adding all different waters that I haven't added to any of the other batches before. So in this little Ziploc here, I'm going to tell you what waters are in this. And people give us waters from all over the planet to utilize in our sacred ceremonies. This is a super special batch of water. And this water here was from my son, who is a nuclear engineer, and he was on a submarine for 8 months. And he was under the water. He's traveled so many nautical miles, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of nautical miles under the sea. And one point, their submarine traveled under an iceberg. And it was really close quarters. You know, they had to really navigate through this little channel between and under an iceberg. And the salinity in the ocean changed while they were traveling under this iceberg. And he messaged the people that were up top of the submarine. He was down on the bottom of the submarine, and he said, did we change, did we change depth? And they said, no, we're the same depth. We're navigating through this tight space. It was, maybe less than 20 yards or so on each side and below this iceberg for them to travel through to get through this passageway. And the water started condensing in the room that he was in, and he collected some of this water that was condensing from below this iceberg. And what had happened with the salinity of the water is that it was actually, they were in a freshwater stream. And so this is water that is completely pure and untouched from the Arctic. And this one is also Arctic water from 0 degrees longitude and 0 degrees latitude, where they got out at the literal North Pole. And so those waters are really, really special to me. They've been in my refrigerator this whole time with some hibiscus from the Temple of Philae and some dove feathers from the Temple of Horus in Egypt. And so the next waters that we're going to use, and we're going to combine all these waters together. And you can have your water at home and receiving this charge and this information as we combine all these waters together and receive these codes and all of this information in your own being through time and space. So this is water from the Ganga Ma, and this is obtained from the Gangatori Valley of the Himalayas, and it's sacred water from there. This is the vials of water that we're using in our water blessing ceremony project, our Blessed Living Water project. And this is soon to be an official nonprofit, but we're giving away vials of waters at my shop. Anybody who wants to take a vial of the sacred water, which we're going to put in this vessel, and they could take it with them and charge up your own waters, pour it into the rivers, the springs, the lakes, give it to a tree with a blessing. And by doing that, it also, as we know through science, shifts the crystalline structure of polluted water and water that's been disconnected from its original source. And it expands. The thing about water is it expands. As soon as it has that electrical charge back in it, it completely shifts everything that touches it, and it's alive again. So the electrical charge, the ionic charge, is so very, very, very important in our water, because otherwise we're drinking dead water. And you can watch some other videos about that. You would want to look up electrolyzed reduced water on PubMed.com or on Google Scholar. So this one is a vial of water from the existing batch of water that we have in our shop. And so it has all the codes of all those other waters that we've already been collecting and praying over. So we're going to be adding this as well. This is some water that I collected from Lake Tawakoni in East Texas recently. And this was from my son's land. And I did a water blessing ceremony there. I cut off 14 inches of my locks. And I did a water blessing ceremony there as I gifted my hair back to the waters. And then just Saturday night, I did a fire ceremony where I burned the rest of my hair, and under this Capricorn full moon, completely did a total reset and fire ceremony. So we could do a different video soon about a fire ceremony. So this is from Lake Tawakoni, a beautiful sacred cove that my son lives on. This is water that came from Bali. It's a whole thing to get it over here because they want to pour out any kind of vessel that you carry back. So it was a real amazing, huge blessing that we even got it here. But this is salt water from Sanur. You can see there's still some sand in the bottom there. So this is salt water from Sanur in Bali. And I did a water blessing video on my Instagram for when we did, Gina and I did the water blessing in Sanur. And then I did a water blessing video from Lake Tawakoni when I shed my hair. So those are on my Instagram if you want to see how those personal ceremonies go. Next we have some upcycled baby food jars from my granddaughter. And at our last Women's Red Tent, we did a water blessing ceremony where we charged water under the full, it was the new moon, I believe. So we charged water and we gifted moon water to everybody who wanted to take a moon water home with them at the ceremony. And so this is charged up moon water from the Cancer full moon. And then, this Cancer new moon. One of our sacred sisters came to the Red Tent ceremony from the Guadalupe River. She brought this beautiful holy water. And this is from the Guadalupe, which just a week later flooded. So that's the amazing thing, is that this water is so conscious and it knew what was going to happen. It knew before we even knew. But this water is the same flood water that just happened in all of that tragedy. And so we can also place our blessings and prayers into these waters that were affected by the floods. And also for healing all of the rivers and streams and lakes. And, so this is stream, here we go. This is abundance spray. So I'm going to just spray myself with it. And you can see that it's brown. It's made with clove. And so there's a blessing ceremony that we did at my retreat last spring. Here are Inner Goddess retreats on our land here at Mystic Hearts Collective. And we did an abundance ceremony spray. Some of you might have been there. And I've been continuing to keep this alive and growing by adding living water to it and continuing to utilize these cloves. And this is an energy of just bringing forth and stepping into, like whenever you step into that beautiful mist of energy and step into that wealth of water, it's an upgrade and an energy of stepping into the yes frequency of the universe. And so I'm going to miss you all if you'd like to receive the codes from this abundance spray. All right. So drink it in. And lastly, we've got 2 more waters. This is our Blue Bottle Love project. You can see these amazing water codes here. And look at that color as the blue bottle hits the sun. And this one has the energy of the bees on it. Believe, it says. You can see the codes here. And this is fresh Kangen water straight from my ionizer, 9.5. And this is for me, just for my hydration. So for those of you that have some water, let's go ahead and take a moment to hydrate our own being and call in our own intention. Big breath into the belly and then out. And then just take a nice big huge drink. So next we have a water that is also 9.5, but this is a water bottle from my sacred sister, Mary Rose. And it's actually from her fiance, and it has the flower of life on it. It's copper. And copper is super, super powerful when we're working with water. You can see here I have a copper tensor ring on my neck, which we carry at my shop, the Lighthouse. You can look up tensor rings if you want to know about that. And then I was just gifted this last weekend, the day after my fire ceremony, this etheric weaver, which is a super supercharged, powerful tool to utilize in energy work. And my sister gave that to me upon arrival to her house. And so this is the last piece of the story, and then we're going to just combine all the waters and do the blessing ceremony. So over here, got this beautiful Balinese water goddess here to come and bless our ceremony today. Brought her back recently from our Bali Lighthouse retreat in Ubud, and she came from Sonor, so she spent a lot of time at the ocean before I purchased her. And you can see her mudra. For those of you that know anything about yoga and followed me for a while, you're going to know a little bit about mudras. But mudras are like yoga for the hands, and this mudra that she's doing is one hand up, one hand down, and it's a very tricky mudra to do, actually. So she has one hand up like this, and the other hand down. So she has these two fingers here, which I just noticed. I actually thought it was just like this, but she actually has the two fingers bent down. And the key is in most Egyptian called tutting. It's yoga with the hands, and it's all right angles. So you're keeping this solid right angle, which is really the trickiest part. And then these two fingers are bent down, and these other fingers are straight. So to keep those lines of energy, it's really, really important. Ooh, it's really tricky. So if you want to try that one, this is a new mudra for me. And I've been holding this and breathing with it, and it is really, really powerful. So there's that. So one hand is like this, and the other hand is like this. And just keeping that straight angle, both with the elbows, the wrists, and then the hands in that vertical position. It's really a tricky one. Whew. Check that out. Okay. So lastly, the two water bottles that are the largest here came from recycling, upcycling water bottles that were pretty much just polluting the creek. And this is from my family's land, and these are waters that I just collected from the flood waters that were going through my land upon my ceremony yesterday. And this one I actually found first, and I just collected it right there in the spring that pours into the river. This one I actually saw later as I was hiking up to the waterfall. It's called Rocky Falls. And my Instagram and my YouTube, I just posted a video about Rocky Falls and calling in our power. And so it's just a little short, 1 minute, or so, if you want to listen to that, and just calling in our power. And so I was doing a power ceremony, calling back all of my power, doing a soul retrieval. And this is on a piece of land that I have held ceremony for over 2 decades. And, raised my children there. And my old yoga studio is on that land, my retreat center. And the rest of my dog pack still lives there. And it was a lot of closure. And I was there with my best friend, who I have been friends with since now 39 years. And so she was there on that land with me often. And we had a lot of moments on that land together where we were both in it and processing it. And we had a lot of times where we just got totally fucked up and just sat in the river and just floated, and just, she's been with me since I've been in my 20s. And I mean, since I've been in my teens. I've been in that land since my 20s, you know, and so, yeah, it's been a huge, huge turnover to close that portal. And that fire ceremony where I released my rest of my hair on Saturday really put in the closure. And then I went to go with her to sell her parents' condo. Both of her parents died in a row, winter 2023 and 2024, right in a row within a few weeks of each other. And so finally their condo was sold. And so we went up there to close on the condo and to put closure on this land and to gather the rest of my personal items from my yoga studio and collected the waters. And one thing I noticed about collecting this water is that when I was collecting this water, I was looking for a vessel and it was just right there. You know, it's unfortunate that there was a bunch of trash, but yes, there's a bunch of trash that gets washed up everywhere in the world. You know, I'm not going to get on my plastic soapbox, but I will, just not right now. But so I found this Canada Dry ginger ale, fruit splash, cherry ginger ale, which I thought, okay, it has a little crown on it. It'll do. I didn't have a vessel. I wasn't planning on doing this water ceremony and this closure ceremony yesterday, but as soon as I got close to my land, that was the immediately first thing, priority, is to put closure and to call back all my power, because it was one of my power spots for so very, very long. And so as I reached down and picked up this Canada Dry, the waterfall was coming down, and it's a cascading waterfall, and the current was so strong that it was filling all the way to both sides of the banks of the river, which is at least 20 yards. And it was, you know, good 5 feet deep in that area and rushing. And it would swirl around and slap the white limestone shore, and it would splash up. And interesting, this is called fruit splash, which I think is pretty funny. I just saw that. So, yeah, the cosmic jokes continue, right, y'all? So, thank y'all for being on and commenting too. I appreciate you. I see you. Hey, Stella. Hey, Jake. Hey, Quiet Voice. Hey, y'all. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Amara. Hey, Soulfully and Flo. Hey, everybody. So, yeah, so when I was getting ready to collect the water, I was trying to find a safe place where I could lean into the water but not fall in, you know, because it was rushing pretty fast. And I don't fuck around with fast rushing flood water. No. Had a near-death experience at 11 where I almost died, and my best friend at the time saved me, and lifeguard hooked my neck and pulled me to shore. So yeah, I don't fuck around when I'm near water that's, you know, treacherous. And I can feel the energy of the water when it's safe or when it's not. And so it was telling me it's going way too fast. Do not get in. Do not get in at all. And so I was looking for a place where I could get the water deep enough to get this whole bottle submerged. And I just set it in the water, and then all of a sudden I noticed the water was actually making this swirl, and it was actually coming to me. It wasn't just going downriver. It was swirling in this little area right by the spring. And all I had to do was simply put my bottle in and allow it to be filled. I didn't have to do anything. By just simply letting the water fill my cup to overflowing, allowing it. And that is so important for us to understand and understand, is that all we have to do is open up our vessel and allow Source to fill it. That is it. That is so simple. So simple. Hey, Stella. Hey, Christina. So yeah, it is just so important for us to learn about filling our cup without force. We simply just open our mouth, open our hearts, and allow ourselves to be filled. Because we are a vessel of light, and water literally is light slowed down. We are codes of light. And this is what we're doing with this water blessing ceremony, is we are returning our natural source energy back to the codes of light that they truly are. So I just laid this down sideways. I wasn't even submerging it. I just laid it like this and the water just filled it. And I'm like, well, isn't that how it goes? We just need to fucking open the lid. Just open the lid and let ourselves be filled. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour all these waters into the vessel. This is not drinking water. This is ceremony water. And I'm going to filter this one through a strainer because you can see there's some sticks and stuff like that floating around. So in this vessel, at the bottom, you can see there's 2 pieces of blue glass. And that was not in there before this weekend. My blue glass bottle that I have carried since 2011 broke. The moment I arrived at my sister's house, right when we were pulling in, my best friend and I were listening to her playlist. And Silent Night comes on. And we're like, what? And she's like, oh my God, I played this song over and over and over when my dad died. And I'm like, well, hi, Dad. And so we pull up into my sister's driveway. And actually, we had not planned on going to her house first. We planned on going to the hotel first. But when we came into that side of DFW on the west side, we actually ended up right by her exit. So we just exited. And we're like, okay, we're going to my sister's first. Well, we pull up. I bring this jug of water to her because she doesn't have a Kangen water machine yet. And I bring her water anytime I possibly can. And it holds its ionic charge in glass for up to 3 days. So I had her get out all her mason jars and all of her glass vessels, and I was going to pour all the waters in there. So that was the first thing I was doing when I was arriving. And my best friend was about to go see one of her friends while I visited with my sister. And we were going to reconvene for dinner. And so I was pouring waters in the kitchen. My sister grabbed the blue glass water bottle out of her car, and she ran it. My best friend ran it up to the door, and my sister said that she grabbed the water bottle, and it was just a 1 liter water bottle, and she picked it up, and she said all of a sudden she felt it not be heavy, like when you carry water, it's going to be heavy, and she said she felt it kind of lift. And it came off of the clip, which was totally secure and not broken, and just dropped and shattered everywhere. I've had this water bottle, this blue glass water bottle, since 2011, y'all. And this was the moment it chose to break. And she had just given me this etheric weaver. This is a super, super powerful portal tool and healing tool. And so she gifted me this right before I started filling up her jug of water. And she had a large etheric weaver on her ceiling with a little copper pyramid. So it's kind of like this, but the etheric weaver was hanging in the middle of it from her ceiling. And so the bigger ones that are copper, you can actually take and place them on your head, to really pull in energy. So she had that on the ceiling, and when she placed this on my neck, I didn't know that it was above me. I was literally directly below it, and she placed this on, and the whole entire thing just starts swirling in these going counterclockwise, these counterclockwise circles. And then she's like, look up, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And when she stood next to me as my sister, she's my blood sister, my one and only blood sister. And when she stood next to me, the weaver balanced out and started going perfectly forward and backward right between us. I was here, she was here, and it was just going like this. But when she would step out, it would do this counterclockwise circle. And when she'd step back in, if we went this way, it would go this way. If we went this way, it would go this way. Super crazy. And then right after that, the water bottle broke. So there was a shattering of all this energy, preparing me to go into ceremony yesterday on my land and clearing the energy and pulling back all of my power, as well as closing out this energy with my best friend's parents. And we pretty much did a whole entire tour of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex of all of our old stomping grounds, and not on purpose. Just our car ended up like leading us there when we were going to other things, and we're like, oh my God, here we are at this location where we have all these memories, and here we are at this location. Here we are driving by my old street from where I lived from 9th to 12th grade. Let's go by my old house. We went by the park where she and my sister and I used to hang out. I mean, there was so much closure. We went pretty much by every place. We went through her parents' house one last time, and my home, my land, one last time. And so there was so much to that. So before all that happened, I had this blessing ceremony scheduled. And so whatever's going on in your life right now, I invite you to bring it into ceremony and present it with your tears and with your ugly cry and all of that. Because it's not easy. It's not easy. It doesn't have to be hard, but sometimes it's fucking hard. And that's where we're at right now. Is sometimes it is just hard. And that's okay, because we can do things together. And that's why we're here, to support each other. So I'm going to pour all these waters together. I have some shells, and so I have these two beautiful abalone shells, which I use in my water blessing ceremonies. Takata and I also do baptisms, and within nature. Hey there, Christina. Hey there, Stella. Thank you so much. It is, yes, it is so hard, and it doesn't have to be hard, but sometimes it is. And this human experience is that. It is a human experience, and we're here to up level. And this is exactly what we do, is we keep stepping in and saying yes and showing up no matter how hard it is. So here we are, 2 abalone shells. I brought this little basket back from Bali. You can see it's hand carved with these little flowers. And I picked up these corals off of the beach. We also did a water blessing ceremony and a sacred game. And we created a crystal grid on the land with all these hearts and pyrites. And there's some tiger's eye. And so we created a crystal grid on the land. I brought all these hearts and the pyrite and the tiger's eye with me to charge up in Bali. And I'm also, those are gifts for those that are called to receive them, and these corals. So we're going to go ahead and pour all the waters together with some sacred prayer. So I'm going to, right now, just place this little sieve to filter out this water here. So we're placing in the waters from my land. So there's the second one. All of the prayers, all of the ceremonies, all of the positive intentions. There's that. Next, we're going to place in a little bit of calming water that I just poured into here. This is 9.5. So we're going to fill it up most of the way with living water. We're going to add some of the water from the flower of life. We're going to add a little bit of the abundance spray water. All those abundance codes. We did so much money mindset work and abundance codes around that. I'm going to add in some of the sacred waters from the Guadalupe. We're going to add in some moon water from our women's red tin. We're going to add in some water from Sonor from Bali. All with intentions and prayers of healing our planet, healing our bodies, healing humanity, peace. Peace on earth, peace within our bodies, peace within our soul. We're going to add in some water from the Veda Austin Conference. We're going to add in the water from Lake Tawakoni in East Texas. Beautiful, fresh water, clear water. We're going to add in a coated and charged water from the water blessing ceremony vessel that we've been using since the beginning of 2026 in all of our water blessing ceremonies, which includes waters from India and Costa Rica and so many waters from all over the world, which I will list out, but right now I'm not going to name, and all of the intentions and prayers of thousands of people who prayed with us in those ceremonies. Oh. So now we're going to add in water from the Ganga, Ma, Sacred Mother, in India. This has a little seal on it. There we go. And then we're going to add in these sacred waters from the first time ever that these have touched another vessel of water since my son collected them from below the iceberg and from the 0 degree longitude, 0 degree latitude. The most pure, untouched water probably hasn't even been touched for millions of years, who knows. Not in there. So whenever we do a blessing ceremony, we use these shells because look at how beautiful this is. As it comes through the abalone shells naturally, it creates this beautiful fountain. I'm going to show you why it does that. So the abalone shells naturally have these holes in them. Water. Hey, so I'm just going to finish up our water blessing ceremony. My phone got way too hot. So we added all the sacred waters into our water, and then we ended up just simply having this beautiful batch of water. I'm going to go over here by the altar and just share with you just how to close up your ceremony. So you can end with calling in the directions, you can end with calling in the elements, you can drum, you could pray, you could dance, you can sing your prayers. So that's really where I invite you to have your personal connection with the waters. And just drop in the comments how you plan on doing your water ceremony, or if you do water ceremonies, anything about the things that you like to do in your ceremony. And I am so very, very grateful for each of you, soul family, for being in my life and for being here and being present and witnessing all of the things, whether it's ugly, whether it's pretty. We're all here and we're showing up to do the work. And so I'm so very grateful for you. And make sure you like my channel, subscribe here, share this video if it's helped you in any way, or save it for later. And we'll see you on the next one. Namaste.